Hey, welcome back. So we were in the process of knowing the vision and the direction that we need to head, if at all, if we are starting with full stack AI agentic system in 2026, right? What are the components that we need to cover? And you see that there are many software development best practices that we would like to follow in this particular vision of ours. When instead of going them one by one, right? So let's get into the very first one that we would require, right? So the very first one that we would require is an UI UX client layer, and likewise we will get into all the details of it, and at the very last we will try to checklist whether we have covered all of these software development best practices. To quickly go about the software development best practices are, right, so you have to make use of the version control, so you keep on committing to Git regularly and more consistently, so that will always create an versioned artifacts of all the codes that you have, all the code that you have checked in, right? So that's why we use version control on Git. It becomes easier to package stuff, to create to release versions of your packages, right? Be it be chat or be it be your Docker image. We will get to that later on. So, and then we will try to stick into the design practices. What are the design practices that we need to cover when we get into the back end or the front end of it, right? So, and then there will be test driven development, right? Writing code is one stuff, and the other stuff is making sure that it functions as it is. And and always you will always tend to give your code to somebody else, right? Today you are there, and then tomorrow you have left the organization, or you want to give this to a maintenance phase. At that time you need to make sure that it is whether the person comes over and then makes a simple change and then it breaks in an n number of ways, a typical testing mindset. So try practicing test driven development at the very beginning of it, as soon as you are into kind of implementation phase, right? So start your test first, given that there are GPTs now. I mean, we all come from an era where I mean, I'm hoping most of you are, so where we used to write test manually and then do a development on top of it. Today it's the I mean, even though situation remains the same, we no need to write the test right now from scratch, right? So you have GPTs where you could, if at all, if you explain the vision of your development, it will be able to, at least the use case of the development, it will be able to nudge you with a proper test case and keep it to a very minimal, that is unit test, and then you will start the development. So the test will be given by your co-pilots or something like that, which would assist you, and then you try to make a development as much to that unit. So nowadays it is easy, so why don't you have a test driven development, so that at the very beginning itself you have the test covered, and then you have developed use cases based on it. There comes no situation where any development is without test. That's the whole idea of a test driven development, right? So, and then how do we make use of LLM-as-Judge is something which we're gonna look into that. So I mean, at least the vision of it, right? So then comes continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? So these are, I mean, one of the main software paradigm of software development best practices. I do come from a place where in one of our project we used to copy paste our entire release folder from one machine to another machine. From a developer machine, I generate the release artifacts of it, whatnot, right? So, and then take that, zip it, and then give it to the operation guys, so that I sit along with them, so that they don't mess up or write a text file. So how do you go about deploying these apps from that era to making it continuously integrated and continuously deployment? So if you are from that era, then you will understand that CI/CD is, I mean, by far we need it for an AI agentic system, because it saves time to begin with, and then you need not worry. I mean, developers job or any engineer's job is to just to commit into a repo, and then the things should auto take care of integrating it to your all your development staging and whatever the versions that you have, right? The ecosystem that you have developed, the ecosystems that you have kept. So for that we will try to make use of GitHub Actions. And then next, coming to DevOps infrastructure as code, right? So whether we use I think whether we use Terraform for this or not, but at least we will try making use of Docker and Kubernetes with Helm. What is the strategy that we need to employ while going with AI agent particularly? Let's see that, and a clear, helpful documentation for any part of any part of software. Software development, right? So we need to have a clear documentation. It's it's a known thing. So yeah, so we'll dwell into all this. So well, first we will start with, in the very next video we will start with UI UX client layer and see what are the things that goes in making up so we'll start with the vision here is we will try to make one particular we will try to understand what all goes into making a dash or a chatbot, right? Chatbot application. In that chatbot application, what are the stuffs that in UI UX, what are the frameworks that you need to choose, right? And what are the features that it bare minimum that it need to have to look at least premium, a usable one or a MVP kind of. And we will see, we will get into that details, and then we will come back, right? We will come back, we will get into the next one is backend orchestration, and then we will use what are the DB layers, what are the difference between production test beds versus I mean the production test bed, the production versus the production versus the test beds that we need to have. How do we separate this DB layer? We will see what are the as told before, right? What are the test suits that we need to write for this, and how we can use LLM-as-Judge, right? And then of course we will get into DevOps, cloud native IAC, right? All these stuffs. So why, and in the course of it we will try explaining why these choices in particular, and what are the learning objectives that you will get out of this repo, and yeah, what are the other open source contributions that you can make use directly and plug and play within your application, right? We will try covering most of it. Yeah, we'll see you back in a while.